Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Gilmore Sisters, a Rant Podcast, presented by the Cereal Box Network and hosted by myself, Crayle, and Kelly, my Phoenix sister of
Hi.
Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Crayle.
This week, we are talking about secrets and lies, mostly secrets that characters kept that made no sense. So, listen to our cute little intro, and we'll get into it. La 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 la. Gilmore Sisters.
Gilmore Sisters is a Phoenix Sisters cosplay production and is hosted by the Cereal Box Network. Pokeballs by Crayle is your one-stop shop for handmade magical creations that celebrate all the Pokemon universe has to offer. Available on CrayleVanest.com, that's CrayleVanest.com, and possibly coming to a con near you. One nightmare destroyed Aidan O'Donnell. Aidan Gray, aka Scorcher, was born out of those ashes. The Forces of Nature trilogy is about the destructive powers of having superpowers that you don't understand and can't control. It's about redemption, about finding love and finding yourself. You can find the first two books, Scorcher and Thin Ice, online wherever books are sold. You can also pre-order the upcoming audiobook for Scorcher at www.kellyguentner.com. That's www.KELLYGUENTNER.
So, I'm going to preface this whole thing by pointing out that Lorelai keeping secrets, as much as we may be reminded of them in this episode, that's not weird. Her whole thing is that she got punished every time her parents found out anything about her that deviated from the norm. Sharing in general was not rewarded or encouraged at all in the Gilmore household growing up, okay? But for someone who tries to, nurse the opposite of that in the people around her, everybody else keeps secrets from her too, to the same intensity she does.
Yep.
To the same intensity she does, and that doesn't make any sense. That many people cannot be that secretive. Why have friends, fiancés, girlfriends, boyfriends if you're not going to tell them stuff about your life?
Right. And sometimes it's just stupid stuff, that nobody cares about. Like let's start with Suki's thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Suki, when she's in her second pregnancy, keeps it a secret from Jackson, Lorelai, and everyone in her life that she has been watching Dark Shadows and eating Toblerones after her shifts at the inn in the kitchen, which she explains why she did that, but the extreme that she took it to just didn't make sense considering the consequences it started having in her life when she normally is a chronic oversharer.
Yeah. Now, I will say that when you're a mom, you get mom guilt. And so you feel bad if you want time away from your husband and kids. But
to the point that, first of all, I'm sorry, you finish your thought, Kelly.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, to the point that you're pretending that basically wasn't she getting staff in trouble?
And yeah, Michelle thought that somebody was stealing stuff from the honor bar. He thought that maybe employees were using the inn for romantic trysts. Michelle was about to start a witch hunt, and it's a good thing that Lorelai was trying to tamp that down in Michelle, but
the fact that Suki wasn't is crazy. I don't like to use that word, but it's wild. Come on now.
And Jackson has an obsessive personality. He worries all the time. The first baby proofing and for all of Suki's pregnancies, he's been so worried about her health, the baby's health, like baby proofing the house. He wanted her to switch to plastic knives when she's a chef. Like, she knew he was going to worry. He's like, just when Lorelai is like, Jackson thinks I have you changed to the stove. Like,
right? Why would you do that? Instead of just being honest. It makes no sense.
Or like at least telling Lorelai and like workshopping how to get through the mom guilt. Like she normally shared with Lorelai frequently. So it's just like, it's like anytime a character needed to create some drama, the writers were like, oh, well, they're going to keep absolutely everything secret. And it's like, but people don't act like that most of the time. Not most people. Like,
so I feel like 2 episodes ago, I asked if the writers had met any rich people or any poor people. Now I'm just going to, do away with that. Have the writers met any people?
Are Amy and Daniel, Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino just like pod people?
Or aliens?
Or aliens.
Aliens sent here to study the human race. That would explain the unique nature of speech shown in Gilmore Girls.
It would.
Yes. Okay, so now we're headcanoning about the producers. So that's cool.
Yeah. So if you're new to the episode, new to this show, previous episodes we're constantly talking about, oh, maybe everybody in Stars Hollow is a vampire. Now also maybe the writers are aliens. This is possibly not your average Gilmore Girls fan content.
Yeah, pretty sure we've jumped the shark multiple times. And I have no regrets.
No regrets.
Not even a single letter. Okay, so next up, which lie do we want to tackle next?
I mean, Jess also keeps like everything secrets. And when we meet Liz later in the show, I feel like that's not justified either. Like him keeping a secret about stuff like that he might be able to get in trouble about is one thing. Yeah. But he keeps secrets from Rory, who has no ability to like ground him for failing a class or anything like that, right?
Right.
He keeps his job at Walmart a secret from everyone in his life.
For no reason.
For no reason. Like, yeah, Luke teases him for like 5 minutes about like, have you been sneaking out of here with a little blue vest on you? But it wouldn't have given Luke so much ammo if he hadn't kept it a secret for so long. And yeah, no, people are going to wonder where his money's coming from and where he's going and what he's doing because he's still under 18. Like, what? Why? Why keep a whole job a secret? Like, keeping it a secret that he was skipping school to go to the job? Sure, that could get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Keeping.
It makes no sense whatsoever, except to cause drama. And, well, in this case, it was more humor.
Yeah, I mean, there was some drama about it because Luke was concerned that Jess was like engaging in criminal activity. He asked Gypsy, like, you know, when he gave you the cash, did a gun fall out of his pocket? Like, I love Gypsy being like, no, but he was carrying it in a giant burlap sack with a $sign on it. And Luke is like, really?
I love Gypsy so much.
Yeah. Unfortunately named character, but her humor was
yes,
top shelf.
And then Jess was a pathological liar. And like you said, meeting Liz, you're like, well, that doesn't make sense at all because, yeah, Liz is a little hippy dippy. And
like, Liz couldn't handle him because she wasn't creating enough consequences. And the type of lying and secret keeping you see out of teenagers like that, you think of normally as coming from strict parents. Like,
unless he became a pathological liar for the attention to try to get her attention because she was a little more in her own little world.
Maybe. Like, we can headcanon our own reasons in for some of the secrets and lies, but still, I feel like as an audience, we maybe shouldn't have had to do it as much as we do.
Agreed.
Like, Rory keeps Dean a secret, like the fact that she likes a boy for way later than I feel like fits her and Lorelai's relationship. Like her being a little cautious to mention him when she's trying to decide for sure at the last second whether or not she really wants to go to Chilton made sense.
Yeah, she basically like hides it that she kissed him, and that's weird. I kind of get why she hid it at first, because Lorelai flipped out and Rory thought, oh, well, Mom doesn't want me liking boys. But
they talk about everything else to the point of like, I don't understand how once you have that kind of talk about everything all the time relationship, how she would have had the discipline to keep it a secret is what boggles my mind. Like, I can make up a reason why, or they can even say a reason why a character would have the motivation to keep a secret. It's just that, again, like most people, like, not most, but some people keep everything in and some people don't. And Rory didn't. Not with Lorelai, anyway.
Right. You get in the habit of telling someone everything. So how are you going to, like, suddenly start keeping secrets? It's so weird.
Yeah. Like, she got given a bracelet that she wears every day before her mom knew she was kind of sort of dating. No, when she was dating Dean, because they count her birthday as their anniversary, because that's when he gave her the bracelet, right? And so it's like, how are you wearing a reminder every single day of your secret boyfriend and not blurting anything out to your mom? Like, who you tell everything.
And they're used to telling all that. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So if you as the viewer, like, have a different experience of what part of the brain helps people keep secrets, let us know in the comments. We will discuss with you.
Yeah, I guess we're both kind of pretty open people, so maybe that's why.
Maybe that could be it, but I just, and some of the things I can't think of a motivation either, though. Like, Luke has an entire secret apartment and doesn't mention to anybody that he moved.
That was so weird, because there's no reason to lie about that.
Right? Like, I actually completely understand. As much as I feel like you don't owe people personal information, I can understand Lorelai spinning out of control about that one, because that's such a not deep personal secret thing to not mention to somebody. And moving is like a stressful experience. And she and Luke were used to talking about stuff all the time, like personal stuff, daily stuff, everything. Like, everything from the emotions he feels about turning his father's hardware store into a diner to
yeah. You know, I don't know if they were trying to show that Luke was just because he didn't actually move, as Lorelai pointed out, and so maybe they were trying to make the point that Luke was in denial about the fact that he'd moved at all.
Maybe, but I feel like the drama there could have been created enough on its own by Luke pointing out that he moved and Lorelai being like, wait, no, you didn't. Like, and
right.
Then him being like, you're prying too much into my personal life. Like, I feel like they could have had the whole conflict starting from a much more realistic point where people would start talking about things or not talking about them.
I agree. But it seems like lying is their go-to.
Or just avoiding talking about whatever will get them from point A to point B in characters who generally are massive oversharers. Like,
right.
Which brings us to the biggest secret of all that I'm like, how could you possibly? Again, the discipline it takes.
So weird.
The biggest one of all is you're Luke. You're engaged in a happy relationship with someone who you have finally put all your cards on the table, said, hey, I'm all in. You've stopped keeping secrets from her. You've stopped being in denial about how you feel about her. You did like a self-help book to get to this point, okay? And you're Luke, and you own a diner, and a little girl in a super weird bike helmet comes in and yanks a chunk of your hair out for a science fair. And you don't mention that to your fiance? She says, hey, how was your day? And you say, oh, fine, normal.
It wasn't normal. Like, what is that? No, your day was not normal. Why?
How do you not immediately get on the phone and be like, the weirdest thing just happened? Like,
that will never make sense to me.
Like, again, after things have spiraled out of control and he gets to the point where he's like, I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know how to tell you. I kept digging myself in deeper and deeper and deeper. That makes sense because he's already gotten in the habit of keeping it a secret. I just don't understand how you have the discipline to not tell your fiance that you talk to every moment of the day. You have what time her coffee cravings kick in around her work schedule memorized.
Right.
You're that close to this person. And the next time you talk, you aren't like, the weirdest thing just happened to me. Like,
because it doesn't make sense at all. It will never make sense. It was literally just they weren't ready to let Luke and Lorelai get married, so they had to throw a wrench in the works.
Right. And him having a kid on its face isn't bad. He didn't know Lorelai likes kids, has kids, and understands how this kind of thing could happen. So they had to add this whole extra layer of, but why didn't he tell me? And what does that make me think about our relationship back and forth? And
yawn.
Yeah, we probably need to do a whole episode at some point in time about how, for the emotional payoff, at least for Kelly and I, it was not necessary to keep breaking Luke and Lorelai up.
Yep.
That's probably going to come up in our episode where we talk about Anna Nardini for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole reason we run this Rant podcast is because Kelly and I have so many theories and overlapping themes that we'd been talking about that I started keeping them in a document, y'all. Like...
That's how hardcore we are. Yep.
And my memory for facts, dates, and names is bad. So if anybody wants to challenge me on like, oh, well, are you that big of a Gilmore Sisters fan because you forgot Lindsay's mom's name, which I don't think they ever actually tell us. That was just the first obscure detail that came to mind. Like,
and you just said Gilmore Sisters, not Gilmore Girls. That's great.
You're not a real Gilmore Sisters fan, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard every episode because I was in them.
Yeah, I think that's good for lies for now. We may have to do a part 2 at some point
of Secrets and Lies, because when we do Kelly's next big rewatch, I'm constantly rewatching them.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelly has to take time out of her busy Buffy watching schedule to rewatch Gilmore Girls.
Right now, it's Once Upon a Time.
Right. It's Once Upon a Time. You just talk about Buffy no matter what you're watching, which I love.
For real. Buffy was formative, and yeah, Buffy for life.
Absolutely. So yeah, what is one of your secrets that you feel like just didn't quite make sense? Tell us in the comments, or even just what's your favorite secret that created drama? Like, is it the Penelon lot lunches? Because that didn't make your list of secrets that don't make sense, but it still caused a lot of drama.
That one was painful.
Yeah. Tell us a secret you hate. Tell us a secret you like. Tell us a secret that you remember just to be like, hey, remember this time this character said this weird thing and then kept this a secret? Like,
yeah, chime in. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And if there's anything in the future you want us to talk about, feel like we need to hit, or that you think we're forgetting, let us know. In fact, if you like this show at all, you can support us by going to buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. That supports our podcast and potentially other Cereal Box Network shows. Buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. If you hate this show and think we really need to do something better, contribute generously and we'll get better. Let us know. All right, Kelly. Do you want to say the long goodbye?
Yes. Well, thank you all for listening, and until next week, have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.